Hi and welcome to this week's Q&A. I'm so glad you're here. Today it is really snowy over here. It started snowing somewhere yesterday in the afternoon and continued to snow all night long. So we have so much snow outside. And you could think about this as something really challenging, and for some people it is, or something really lovely. It's all about how we relate to this. And this is something that I will be talking about, because today I'm going to talk about the challenges along the healing journey. What do you do when you have these setbacks and you don't want to get stuck in them, but you want to keep going? And if you're experiencing setbacks, I want to let you know that you're not alone. This is so common on the healing journey. And these setbacks might look like, for instance, all of a sudden you get more tired than you usually are. You have more symptoms than you've had. You've noticed that you've made progress and all of a sudden you feel like you're taking a couple steps back. And this can be incredibly frustrating. It can bring up all these emotions of feeling that you're not doing enough, that you are getting worse again, and fear of not getting better. And I talked about that last week. So if you want to know more about that challenge, the challenge of having the thought of what if I never get better, then you can head on over to the Q&A from last week and listen to that. Okay, so what do we do with these challenges? The challenges of the setbacks, the challenges of when we're taking the steps forward, noticing that we're actually getting better, and then we hit a wall and we have more symptoms. First, I invite you to imagine your healing journey and the symbolism of going up the Mount Everest. Now, people that climb Mount Everest, they don't do it in one day, right? They have all these stations that they go up to where they stay overnight before they continue up. And the reason for that is because they have to adjust to the oxygen levels. They have to adjust that all of a sudden there's a lot less oxygen in the air, that the altitude difference is very big, and that it affects the physical body, and that they have to give time for the physical body to adjust before they continue on. What if that is exactly what your body is doing when you're having a setback? What if it's your body telling you, okay, we just need to slow down and stay here for a while, to allow for the body to get used to where I'm at right now? Because I believe that even though sometimes you can think the thought that you are taking one step ahead and then taking 2 steps back, I don't think we are taking 2 steps back. I believe that when you take that step forward, it's there. It's not like you get rid of it, right? And then there's the pause. So there's an invitation here to stop and listen to the body. And if you've listened to me before, you know that this is something I talk a lot about. Because the body carries a lot of wisdom. It carries all the experiences from our entire life. It carries all kinds of emotions, and also a lot of wisdom that we don't really have access to with our conscious mind. It's all stored in the unconscious and in our bodies. And if you look at the relationship between the conscious and the unconscious, there are people that usually talk about the consciousness as the tip of the iceberg of the whole area that is both the consciousness and the unconsciousness. And the ice underneath the water is the unconscious. So there is so much there that we don't always have access to with our consciousness. And there's a reason for that, right? Because if we were to have access to all of it all of the time, it would be incredibly overwhelming. We need to have that part of the brain that can filter everything that comes in, all the memories, all the things that are processed in the brain, so that not everything is in our conscious mind all the time. It's a survival mechanism. So thinking about that and realizing how much there is there in the unconscious, in the body, there's a huge amount of wisdom. It's like imagining it as a, okay, I can't think of the English word right now. It's a skattkista in English, I mean in Swedish, which in English is like the pirate's chest of gold, right? It's filled with all kinds of magic. And so I invite you to ask your body if this is where you're at, where you've had a setback, and I invite you to just stop and ask your body, okay, what's going on right now? What do I need right now? And you can also ask, what is this setback about? What is this symptom trying to tell me? What is the brain fog trying to tell me? What is the pain in the body trying to tell me? What is the fatigue trying to tell me? And if you want to know more about this, I also did a Q&A around how to talk to the fatigue and how to relate to it as if it were a person that you can talk to. And I also want to invite you to acknowledge the challenging experience that it is to have these setbacks. Acknowledge everything that comes up with it. Acknowledge that it is challenging, and it's okay. It's okay to have the experience that it's challenging. It's okay to have thoughts that, what if I never get better? It's okay to have thoughts of, oh my God, I'm getting worse. The problem is when we start fighting that, when we start thinking, oof, I don't want to have this, then they will fight back. And sometimes they come back with a vengeance, right? So allow them to be there. Notice where in your body you're experiencing them. And this may sound a bit crazy, thinking about where in my body do I feel the thought. It's in my brain, isn't it? Maybe. Maybe it's in the brain. Maybe it's coming from somewhere else. Regardless, thinking about it as being somewhere in your body and noticing what it is makes it easier to just be with it without having to change it. So let's play with the thought of like, oh no, I'm getting worse again. So if I were to just think about that thought, and I feel what happens in my body as I think that thought. I feel this like pulling back here, like there's something grabbing me from behind, like my neck and my shoulders, like, ugh. And if I just stay with that for a moment and listen to it and pay attention to it, I just hear the words, just slow down for a moment. And if you notice, my whole back went backward. And it was really that experience of like, whoa, not so fast, not so fast. And from that, I want to remind you also that we live in a society that really has a focus on achieving things, checking off the lists. The more the better, right? But our bodies aren't made for that. Our brains, our nervous system isn't made for that. Our brains and our nervous system is made for fluctuation, on and off, activity and rest, and having that constant fluctuation back and forth, back and forth. And it's not about finding the balance, because I don't believe there's such thing as a balance. It's being able to live with that fluctuation, being able to listen to when it's time to move forward and when it's time to pause. And getting really acquainted with your body and the way your body communicates, so that you can hear that, so that you can recognize that in yourself. Because no one knows your body better than you. No one can tell you what's best for you in the way that your body can tell you. No one has all of that wisdom, that whole iceberg underneath the water. It's inside of you. It's not someone else carrying it. It's not someone else with that information. It's yours. And another thing I want to bring up that can be helpful on this journey of dealing with the challenges. How do I manage when I hit a setback? I think it's quite important to have a vision, to have that image of where is it that I'm going? What is it that I want in my life? What is it that I'm yearning for? What is my deepest desire? Because connecting to that helps us to keep going on the path, helps us to keep moving, helps us to remind us that, oh, right, that's where I'm going. And it's okay to be here right now, because I am on the path to reach this. And I know that sometimes it's hard knowing exactly what you want, putting words to it, because we're not always taught to follow our dreams. We're not always taught to listen inwards into what do I really deeply want, right? So I'm working on this free offering that I will have soon that will be about this. And I am so excited about it. And if you want to receive information, if you want to make sure to receive information about this, I invite you to head on over to the link in my bio where you can sign up for my newsletter. And that way you will definitely get information about this free offering around working with your desires. Okay, loves, I know this can bring up a lot of stuff, so we're going to finish this with 3 deep breaths together. I invite you to maybe put a hand on your belly and one on your heart, if that's okay. And you can also see if you want to close your eyes or soften the gaze or keep them open, whatever feels best for you. And take a deep breath in. And breathing out, and imagining that you're letting go of stuff when you breathe out. And breathing in deeply. And breathing out and letting go. And one last time, breathing in. And breathing out. And just notice for a moment what it feels like to have taken these deep breaths. Notice what it feels like in your body. Notice what's different. Maybe your thoughts are different, your emotions may be different. I invite you to come back and If you're interested, go ahead and sign up to my newsletter in the link in my bio. And I hope to see you there. Mwah. Lots of love.